Hello and welcome. We have created this tutorial video to demonstrate how to help survivors and others from their generation to memorialize Jews they know of who perished in the Holocaust. You will see a volunteer visiting with two women in their homes to assist them in recalling and recording the names of Shoah victims on pages of testimony. Pages of testimony are special forms we use to document the names, biographical details, and when available, photographs of Shoah victims. You can also organize public names collections in your community in a variety of venues, including synagogues, Holocaust centers, schools, and JCCs. We advise, when possible, to work with a computer with internet access in order to cross-reference names submitted with those in the names database on the Yad Vashem website. Whether you are a communal service professional, a student, volunteer, relative, or acquaintance of the submitter of information, clearly each one of you will develop your own personal style and technique for assisting in this vital task. It is our hope that you will learn something of value from the best practices that we have outlined in this video.
Hi, I'm Debbie Berman from Yad Vashem.
Very nice meeting you.
Thank you. I'm here today to try to help you memorialize the names of people from your family that were murdered in the Shoah. Do you remember any names of people?
I remember my grandmother's name. Her maiden name was Brownfeld.
We'll start with your grandmother. What was your grandmother's family name?
Her maiden name was Brownfeld, but her marriage name was Wiesner.
Okay, let Brownfeld.
That was her maiden name.
Your grandmother's maiden name.
Right.
And her married name?
Her married name was Wiesner, W-I-E-S-N-E-R.
Wiesner.
Yes.
And what was your grandmother's first name?
Goldie.
Goldie. The minimum of information that we require to be submitted on a page of testimony is the name of the victim, the family name, and the first name of the victim, the location, where the person is from, where they lived, circumstances of death. If those are unknown, then the person submitting can write unknown or Shoah. Are you yourself a survivor?
Well, I wasn't any place, so.
Where were you during the war?
In America.
Where were you born?
I was born in Hungary.
And you went?
And I went from Hungary. My father went to Germany, and in Munich he was rabbi.
I want to fill in all the information, and then I'm going to ask you to sign it. So let me just get your information, how we spell your name, Leah?
Leah, yeah, L-E-A-H.
And your last name?
Schiffer.
S-C-H-I-F-F-E-R. What's very, very important is the information on the bottom of the form, which is the submitter's information, the name, the relationship that the submitter has to the victim of the Shoah is very important. And finally, an original signature on each individual page of testimony.
I have quite a lot of names yet. It's just the beginning. I don't remember the names too well.
Even if we don't know their names, even if we don't know their first names, we know the names of their parents, and we know that they were your first cousins, and that is enough information for us to submit a page for each one of those children, so we're going to do that.
That's why I always didn't want to say anything, because I know very little of them, not enough.
I appreciate that, and I would like you to know how important it is, even whatever information you do give us, even if it's minimal, is so important, because every piece of information is vital for us to keep on record. You may be the last living person with memories of these people, that these people existed, that these people lived, and so I would like to reassure you and tell you that it's fine if you don't have all the information. We know it's 60 years later, and whatever you remember is very, very helpful to us. One of my goals in helping a person who's expressed an interest in submitting a page of testimony is to help them try to remember and recall as much information about the names of the victims that they might know of. So it's trying to help them access that information, and they may at first not think that they remember enough information, or that they don't remember enough people, and it's really sort of trying to put them at ease. Thank you very much for agreeing to meet with me today and agreeing to commemorate and memorialize the people that you know of that were killed during the Shoah. Do you have any victims' names that you would like to tell me? Anybody that you know of that was murdered?
Unfortunately, too many.
We'll start slowly.
Too many. I lost all my family. I was in concentration camp in Auschwitz, in Birkenau, then in Krakow. All this time.
Where are you from originally, Edith?
Czechoslovakia.
Can you write down the name of your town for me so that we spell it correctly? In terms of tips and advice for conducting an interview, if you noticed while I was conducting the interview, I had a small pad of paper next to me where I jotted down and made a chart for myself of the family members or the names that the submitter was giving me, and I kept a very clear account of what their relationship was to the submitter. Tell me the names of your brothers.
Brothers, Alexander. Yeah, and
if they have photographs or if they have any family albums that they've preserved, take those out and talk to them about those things, because often, again, we'll get their memory going and they'll be able to identify the people in the pictures. Would you like to take a look at the page for your grandmother?
It's not Borag. I'll write it down for you on a piece of paper.
It's a D?
That's it.
With the information that you've just given me, I'll fill in the information and I would like you to sign it for your father. Okay? So we'll fill it in together. Your father's name was Herman Engelman.
Yeah.
A submitter has given me a name, has given me the name of their father, then for the duration of the interview I'll refer to that person as their father, and instead of calling him the victim. And it's easier to get the names that way also. Hear a little bit of their personal story, hear who they are. There are a tremendous amount of sensitivities that are required in dealing with people that are interested in submitting pages of testimony and handling the various different scenarios of emotional responses or getting sidetracked from the actual goal of submitting names. Very often the person submitting the page of testimony is he or she maybe is a Holocaust survivor or somebody that lived through that period, and so what we're asking them to do in interviewing them and trying to get the names from, help them recall the names, is asking them to go back to a very painful, difficult period of their lives.
But Baruch Hashem, Hashem helped us, and we were able to survive all these troubles, all these hardships. And losing our family was just the most terrible thing that could have happened. It's constantly in my front of my eyes. My grandmother, what a wonderful woman she was. And she had to go.
Submitting a page of testimony for each individual Holocaust victim is very important because that page of testimony will preserve the victim's memory, and it will become part of our collective national memory. It will become part of the database at Yad Vashem, which will then be able to be accessed for generations to come.
I'm always talking to my grandchildren, telling them things what happened to us, but they're not that they're too young, but they can't imagine, you know. Even it's very hard for them to understand, you know, what happened and how it happened. But they're listening very, very quietly. They're listening when I talk to them, You know, it's very difficult to talk about these things, but I imagine that it needs to be said.
It does.
You know, so I try to do whatever I can. I'm glad to help you, and I want people to know arts are art, so they should finally believe what we went through, and this helps a lot, you know. So, what can I tell you? There's a lot of things what happened to us in our
You have to be very careful not to allow yourself or the person doing the submitting of names to get sidetracked completely and talk about their own personal story. But explain to them, right now we're here to talk about the victims. We're here to try to remember the names that you remember. And you can offer them at the end of the interview the opportunity to continue talking about their lives, and they can fill in a Shoah survivor registration form.
If you worked in this factory, and I had to make bullets, put in the machine, and the screw inside, you know, had to be done the proper way, but I always spoiled them. That's right. They never used those bullets.
Never used your
for
bullet.
sure.